Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Surprise! We're in California, and surprise, it's a vacation vlog, which I haven't done in a really, really long time. I haven't traveled by plane since before Valentine's Day, which many of you know. So this was the first time today that I have traveled by plane. And we came out to California because Alex has a work conference. So he was like, do you want to come with me or do you want to stay at home with Boo Radley? And he was like, I think it would be really nice for you just to get away for a couple days and it'd be kind of like your introduction to flying again. And so I was like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So Alex is going to this conference. It's really just a 2-day conference. He has all day tomorrow, and then tonight, right now, he's at like this dinner kind of like get-together, like networking kind of thing. And so that's tonight for like 2 hours, and then tomorrow he has the conference all day. So tomorrow all day, I'm gonna go and get some coffee, and then I'm going to come back up here and I'm going to film some videos. I'm going to film like a drama video. I might film like 2 drama videos, one to post on Saturday. Because my plan was to get into the hotel room today and film a drama video. Alex was doing some work, but that didn't end up happening. And I'll tell you why in just a second. But anyway, I just woke up from like a 5-hour nap not too long ago. I bought this water in the airport and I still haven't drank it, so I'm gonna open it right now and start drinking it. But anyway, I actually don't think that it would be a disservice for me to drink some water and get a little hydrated, because when we got here today and we checked in, I was like starving. And we flew out. So, okay, so here's the deal. I was like, I'm gonna keep this a secret from everybody, and then there'll be like, oh my God, Peter's in California, what? So, we had to leave the house at 4 a.m. this morning, and I wait till the very last minute to pack and stuff like that, and I was actually packed and everything was done by like midnight. So I laid down, and where's my phone? Oh, here it is, over here. So I woke up and my phone was like behind my head because the alarm was going off. And I must have like been like looking at the phone and like, and I never do that. I never like look at my phone when I'm falling asleep. But I think that maybe like I was planning on not falling asleep or something last night. I don't know. But I ended up falling asleep for like 2.5 hours, something like that. And I woke up and I took a shower and I felt pretty awake. I had downloaded shows for the movie, I downloaded shows for the plane to watch. I had downloaded the newest episode of Chippendales. I had downloaded this documentary, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. And I had downloaded 6 episodes, all 6 episodes that are out of White Lotus on HBO Max. And then I had downloaded like 3 episodes of Virgin River, 2 episodes of Dark. Here, I can tell you what I downloaded. Because I downloaded all of my Netflix stuff on my phone. Because I didn't have enough room on... I downloaded 3 episodes of Virgin River, 2 episodes of Dark, and 2 episodes of Firefly Lane. Because I didn't have enough room on my iPad. I don't know if you guys remember this, but when I bought my iPad several years ago when we were going on lockdown, I got the one that has like the least amount of memory on it, and so it will literally only like hold like 6 or 7 shows, maybe even that, and that's when you have to go in there and like delete a bunch of stuff. Like I can't like put in like 6 movies or anything. I've actually been thinking about maybe like upgrading my iPad because I use it so much, but the thing is that I haven't been traveling so much, and so the only reason to have more memory on there is if I'm traveling a lot. So, because like sitting at home, I'm just watching everything, I'm streaming it, on Wi-Fi, so there's no real reason to it, because it's not like I download the shows and watch them from them. So anyway, so went to bed, got up, took a shower, and got to the airport. Got through everything just in time. We were there like a half an hour early, sitting down, waiting for them to start boarding. Yeah, and then, so we flew through Dallas, and the flight was great. I was very, very nervous about it. Well, first of all, I was nervous about two things. I was nervous about boarding Boo Radley just because he's older, and I just was like worried about it, you know? And so I've talked to Tanya twice today. He's doing great. Alex actually took him to the hotel, to the kennel, we call it the hotel, yesterday, and he's eating his food. Tanya had him out in the yard. He was like running around, bouncing around for like 40 minutes, she said. And she said he's doing great, and he's eating his treats, and he's taking his medicine and all that kind of stuff. So he's doing really, really well. That's like one of the things is like, I feel like I don't take it for granted, but like having a best friend that runs a dog kennel, you know, it's like all of these years I've always just, I mean, I could call her at 11 o'clock at night if I got stressed out about Boo Radley, and, you know, she'd be like, oh yeah, he's fine or whatever. Actually, last night, she and I were talking, and she was at the kennel doing work, and so she was like, oh yeah, I just saw him, he's doing okay, you know? So it was like, I mean, it's like a real perk of having a best friend that owns a dog kennel. And so anyway, but did our first leg of the flight today, and then our second leg of the flight, and then we got into California at and we're like in the Orange County area, and we got in at like 10 a.m. And so, okay, well, our plan originally was that we were coming down here to, well, so we were going to go to Disneyland on Saturday, because neither Alex or I have ever been to Disneyland. We've been to Disney World, not together, but previously, but we've never been to Disneyland. Well, we kept on waiting and waiting to get the tickets. And so, we didn't get any tickets to Disneyland, so now we're not going to Disneyland. But Alex has a connection for tickets that he's talking to, and then I got a friend of mine said check the app on a regular basis, and then Alex keeps on looking at the website, because he said like today, he said there were no, or like if you were looking for tickets for today, there were no tickets available, but like when he got on there this morning, there were tickets available, because I guess people cancel and stuff. So I don't know if you know this about Disneyland, just in case you ever come out here, and I don't know if Disney World's the same way, but you have to buy your ticket, and then you have to go in and like schedule the day that you're gonna go, because they only have like a limited amount of people that they let into the park. And so if that day is taken, you can't come in. But what I've heard is that like a lot of people will cancel their tickets, or they can't show up the day of. And so if you actually like get up early enough and you like look for tickets that day, or if you like look for tickets throughout the day before or whatever, there are some tickets that go available. So we might be at Disneyland on Saturday in case you happen to be there. We don't know yet. But if not, we're gonna just like find something to do. And the other thing is that we're like an hour from Fufu and Jesse. So on Saturday night, we are going to meet Jesse and Fufu for dinner. I think we're going to like, Fufu was we're like in this big, huge group text, and he was talking about restaurants in, here are my glasses right here. He was talking about restaurants in Dana Point or Tustin. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. So anyway, so we're going to meet them, because that way we can have like a little Christmas dinner with them that we haven't, like, if we're not going to see them at Christmas because they're not coming home. It was just Fufu's 29th birthday, and they spent his birthday weekend in Miami, Florida. So we gave them all kinds of recommendations. They went to Sugar for his birthday dinner, and they loved it. And then Alex and I both made the same recommendations. We were like, for the really nice dinner, go to Sugar, which is on the top of the East Hotel. And then if you're ever in Miami, Florida, Sugar is like unbelievable. It's very expensive though. It's like, I think it's like for a minimum, like when you book a table, you can go in and just go into the bar, but it's like standing room only. But for a table, I think it's like a minimum of like $150, and you have to like put that on your credit card before you like even go in. And then you just like order all the food and drinks that add up to that. But I will tell you, like, as a non-drinker, which it's hard to add up food for me that equals $150. And Alex doesn't really drink a lot when we go out to dinner. I mean, he might have a drink or something like that. we do okay with the $150 limit. The thing about it is, Sugar is on top of, I think it's the East Hotel in Miami, downtown Miami. It is so beautiful, and it's like a really high hotel, and it's like this, it looks like gardens, and you can see over the whole city of Miami. It's really, really cool. But anyway, and then the other place that we told him to go was, I can't pronounce it, La Sandwicherie or whatever. It's these little sandwich shops that they have in Miami, and they put these big sandwiches on baguettes of bread. Oh my God, they're so fantastic, and they're just like little corner shops that you go to. Alex and I actually one time, we got them, and then we went and had like a picnic on the beach. It was really fun, so I was telling them to do that, and they did that, and they loved them there. So anyway, and they have like great vegetarian sandwiches. You can get like clubs, turkey sandwiches, ham sandwich. They have all different kinds. They have like Hawaiian sandwiches. They have all different kinds. You can make your own. They have all kinds of really cool stuff. So anyway, so we got here, and then it was so funny because, so Alex booked the lift, and the guy was really, really nice. And so, like, he drove, like, from the airport over to this office district area. And we knew that, like, our ride was, like, 30 to 45 minutes. And so, he all of a sudden, he goes, okay, here we are. And the guy was, like, he had already told us, because we were, like, talking to him, that he had to, like, let his son use his car for the rest of the day. So this was, like, he was taking, like, 1 or 2 more rides, like, in that area. And Alex looked at me, and he goes, what's going on? And I go, he booked, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know, you booked it. And the guy's like, what's wrong? And Alex is like, like, our ride is like 30 to 45 minutes. And so we had gotten in the wrong lift, which has like never happened to me in my entire life. This guy came up to Alex and was like, Alex? And he's like, yeah. And so there were 2 black cars that were right next to each other, and they were both Toyotas, and one was a Camry and one was like whatever else, I don't know. And so we just looked at the Toyota thing and the black car, and the guy asked for Alex. Is that not so weird? So we had gotten in the wrong, so it must have been 2 Alexes that had ordered cars, and both Alexes got Toyotas. And so we got in the wrong Uber and or Lyft or whatever. So we just stand outside this office building, like in the middle of nowhere, and wait for this lift to come, which was fine. But then this guy that came to pick us up was like driving like a bat out of hell, like all over the interstate. And we're like in this group text with Fufu and Jesse, and Fufu's like coming up with all of these like food suggestions for restaurants for like places that we can meet. And Alex is like, we're gonna have to figure this out when we get to the hotel. He was like, because I'm already car sick from this ride. It was true. Like, I felt so sick from this car, and the guy's like swerving. And then every time he would like get on the phone and talk, he would like roll up the windows. I was like, I need some fresh air in this car. Like, it's too much. But anyway, did totally fine on the flight. I was kind of nervous about it, even though, so my neurologist had been very worried with the subdural hematoma of me flying in a plane, and like, like that had been a big thing that I had talked about that in the vlog. When I went to go see this neurosurgeon, he kind of like side-eyed me a little bit when I said this to him, and he actually works in conjunction with my neurologist, and he was kind of like, he was like, well, I mean, he didn't make a joke of it, but he's like, my neurosurgeon's kind of a funny guy. And he was like, I mean, he was like, if it happened, he goes, you would be like one of the first people that it had ever happened to. And I was like, what do you mean? And this is important to note, that like, the subdural hematoma is something that like you go to a neurosurgeon for. It's like, my neurologist is more of like, does like the epilepsy part and things like that. And so he was like, well, planes are the cabins of planes are pressurized. He was like, so that wouldn't affect. So anyway, but he was like, let's just keep on looking at the CAT scans. I just actually got the results of my CAT scan this week. Major improvements. So it's just continuing to improve and improve and improve. I think I may have shared that on here, but anyway, and he doesn't even want to see me until the beginning of the year. So very excited about that. Good news. But anyway, so yeah, so I can travel now. I guess I kind of could have traveled probably even before this in a plane. But my neurologist just wanted to be safe, and I'm glad that he was. I mean, when you're talking about a brain bleed, it's not funny stuff, So anyway, on the ride out here, do I want to talk about TV shows now or do I want to wait? Okay, so we got out here, got to the hotel, checked in, and we were both starving, right? But we were both really exhausted too, especially Alex. I felt so bad for him because he knew that he had this dinner thing tonight, and it was it wasn't something that I would go to. None of this convention is anything that I would go to as his partner. And so it was cute too because he's I'm not really good. He doesn't have social anxiety, but he's I'm not really good, with networking and which is kind of surprising to me because he is when we go places, I forgot to talk about the Christmas thing that we went to last night. Oh my God. So anyway, but when we go to things, he is that way. But what's so funny is I was somewhere with my friend Valerie just last week, and she said, what happened to your social anxiety? Because I was talking to these people, and she was making fun of me, and she was what happened to your social anxiety? And then last time we went to this Christmas thing, I kind of started talking to this couple, and Alex kind of looked at me too. I think I'm starting to almost kind of overcompensate for it a little bit, to get to the point where I feel, not overcompensate, maybe that's the wrong word, where I feel really comfortable, kind of just talking to strangers about random stuff. Well, that's not it either. I don't know that I feel really comfortable. I just push myself to do it. And then once I do it, I enjoy the, kind of back and forth rapport. And so it makes it easier for me to do. So anyway, Alex and I were talking about it today, and he was usually I go to these conferences. He knows people that are going to be here, but he's not going with anybody. And so he was usually I go to these things with people and it's easier for me and whatever. I said, babe, just pick out 3 people. And I said, pick out somebody that, I don't know, has a sweater on that you like or whatever. And just be hey, I really like your sweater or whatever. I said, you can do this. He's so social. It was kind of funny to me that he said this. But anyway, so we were both tired, but he was definitely more tired out of the two of us because he had really not gotten a lot of sleep in the last week. So anyway, and we were both hungry, so we went and ate, and he got well, we had this bread. He got a black coffee. I was this is when it's 11 o'clock, it's lunchtime, and he got a black coffee, and I'm what are you doing? And he was well, I'm gonna go to the room and try to do some work before I go to this thing. I said, we have 6 or 7 hours before you have to go to this thing. I said, you need to take a nap. And he was I know, but I need to do some work first. I said, babe, you really need to rest. I said, because we've been up. I mean, both of us only got 2 or 3 hours of sleep, So we got this bread that was fantastic, and then he got a black coffee. I got a Dr. Pepper and a water, and then Alex was I thought you were gonna start trying to eat better. I said, forget it on this trip. We're not doing all that on this trip. So anyway, and then they had a vegetarian Caesar, which, I mean, they rarely ever have a vegetarian. When I saw it on the menu, they have the, what do you call it? The legend, where it's vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free, and stuff like that. And next to the Caesar, they had it as vegetarian. I was oh my God, because I used to love Caesar salads. And so I was so excited about that. So I got a vegetarian Caesar. And then they made me an adult grilled cheese, which really wasn't very good, and I only ate half of it. And then it came with fries, and the fries were incredible. Our server was amazing. And we were talking to her about all kinds of things. And she brought out all these. I was listen, I'm from the Midwest. I said, can you bring out my condiments? I'm kind of a condiment queen. And so she brought ketchup, mayonnaise, and ranch for both of us. She brought a little tray for both of us. So anyway, and the salad was just fantastic. It was so good. And it had this smoky dressing on it. I was telling her, I was I love this dressing, it's so good. And she goes, oh, all of our dressings are made in-house. And I'm looking at that ranch dressing that I've been dipping my fries in, and I'm looking at this Caesar salad I just devoured, and I'm oh God, I'm in trouble, because these are both creamy dressings. And y'all know I've been talking about my stomach, and creamy dressings that are made in-house, I don't know what the difference is when they're made in-house, homemade dressings at restaurants versus if they're brought in or whatever, but for some reason homemade dressings just screw up my stomach. So, speaking of Valerie, I know she's watching this right now, and she has a lot of theories on this. I love you, Valerini. So, anyway, but she always just says, she goes, I'm just worried about, you know, your eating habits and stuff like that. So, she's like my far away friend, Mom. She always is taking care of me and worrying about me. I love her so much. I feel like I'm so blessed to be surrounded by... I've always had this in my life, but I think especially since, like, my mom is gone and my aunt is gone now, you know, that, like, I feel like I'm so surrounded by so many women that really, like, take care of me and look out for me. You know, like, Valerie is kind of like my second mom. You know, like, Tanya's like my older sister. You know, Melissa's kind of like my sister. You know, I just feel really blessed that I have these amazing women in my life, you know. I have so many amazing women. Caroline, you know, is like my sister, cousin. Kissing cousins. No. But anyway, so then we came back to the room. I had requested a fan for the room. Look, they brought us this fan. Not exactly my favorite kind of fan, but I will tell you it does the job, okay? And then Alex set up, like, the Alexa thing with this so we could have, like, the sound of waves in the background. And we closed the blinds. Alex unpacked his entire suitcase, which he always does, no matter if we're staying somewhere for one night or not. I do not. Here is my suitcase. And I tried to get mine into a carry-on, you guys, and I was like, okay, there's just no way, because I'm bringing hoodies, because I looked at the weather, and actually I have to tell you, I just walked outside because we have a balcony outside. It's like a really nice balcony, and I just walked outside, and do y'all want to see, well, I'll show you the balcony tomorrow. I don't want to get up right now. But anyway, Alex, like, booked a room with, like, a balcony, and so I didn't expect the balcony that we got. Like, we have, like, it's like a little courtyard balcony. It's really cool. So anyway, but I was looking at the weather out here, and it's like, you know, I see a lot of people, and maybe it's like we're far enough from LA, I don't know, but, like, I see people in LA, like, go out at night, and they're wearing, like, sleeveless t-shirts and jeans and whatever. So I looked on the weather, and it was like 60, 65 during the day, and like 40 at night. And I'm like, this is basically Indiana weather. Like, this is like maybe 10 degrees warmer than what we have in Indiana right now. So I was like, okay, I need to bring hoodies. I need to bring shirts to wear for, like, these dinners, because we're going to do dinner tomorrow night, just Alex and I. And then doing dinner, like, with Fufu and Jesse, and then we fly back, you know. So anyway, so I was like, I need to bring, like, warmer stuff like jeans and things like that. And so I tried to get it into a carry-on, and I just could not get into a carry-on, so I had to check a bag. But, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, I just walked out on the balcony before I started vlogging, and I was really surprised how cold it is out here. I was like, damn, it's cold. I'm going to stop complaining about Indiana. It's kind of weird, because, like, right now, I don't know if you can see. Here, I'm going to show you. You probably can't see it, but this is our balcony out here. But there's palm trees right there, and it's kind of, like, surreal to see, like, these beautiful palm trees and then have the temperature be so cold. Like, it's kind of weird. I should look and see what the temperature is right now. So yeah, I wanted to film some videos today, but we got to the room, and I was like, oh, it says it's 55. It does not feel like it's 55. Tomorrow's, yeah. It's supposed to be down to 43 tonight. So, what was I gonna say? Totally just lost my train of thought. Oh, so we came up to the room. I was kind of like on this trip, I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do, like, filming videos. Like, back in the day, I would have had, like, Peterism's videos pre-filmed for the whole week. I would have had review videos pre-filmed for the whole week. At that point, I hadn't had my Peter Does Stuff channel up yet, so I, didn't do that. I think like I'm going to do just like really silly videos on my Peter Does Stuff channel, like hanging out in the hotel room, or I'm going to do one making like hotel room coffee. I think I'm going to do those for the like 2 of those. But the thing is that tomorrow's really my only day to film, because Saturday, Alex and I are going to be hanging out together all day. And then Sunday, like in the afternoon, we're flying back. So I think we fly out late afternoon, early evening or something like that. So like that's Sunday. And so, it's like I don't know when I'm going to be filming videos. I will tell you, I'm going to try to do vlogs every single day that I'm here, but Sunday, I may not do a vlog. And if I do, I may have to wait until we get home. But I think we get home pretty late on Sunday. So I don't know. But anyway. So we got back to the room, and my stomach kicked into overtime and started like really, really hurting. So I was like, I'm just going to lay down. So we shut the blinds and turned on the fan, and Alex was like asleep before I even got into bed. And I said, what time did you set your alarm? So we were like in the room, like it was right at 1 o'clock when we laid down. And I go, what time did you set your alarm for? And he said 4 o'clock. And I was like, oh my God, 4 o'clock. Like, that's a really long nap. And so I was like, okay. So I set mine for like 20 after 4. And I ended up sleeping till like 5:15. So I must have needed it. I don't know. So I slept like 4 hours. And I got up, in all honesty, like I kind of felt like I could have slept for the rest of the night. Like I felt, I don't know, just maybe drained. Even though we didn't really, like, it wasn't like it was huge traveling or anything like that. It's still kind of like, I mean, the traveling was fine. It wasn't bad at all. Although, like, I have this huge backpack. I don't know if you guys can see it. So I have this huge backpack over there in that corner, and it has like my computer, and it has everything in it that like I need to get throughout the day, and it's so heavy. And so like when I'm carrying it, it like is, and it's like I carry it on one side, I don't carry it on both sides, which I probably should. And so, and I was gonna actually, because I didn't, this is when I was trying to get everything into a carry-on, I wanted to wear those black platform boots out here for when we go to dinner and stuff, so I was gonna wear them on the plane, and I thought, Peter, don't do this. Don't wear those black platform Doc Marten boots. You're gonna be real uncomfortable on the plane. So I ended up, I don't know if you can see them over there, but they're sitting right next to that, but I ended up wearing those new Birkenstock clogs that I got, which I'm so thankful that I did, and I just wore this hoodie on the plane. But like walking through the airport and stuff like that, like it just kind of like, my back was really hurting, my lower back, and I don't know, it just got really tired. I just turned on. I heard something turn on and turn off. Anyway, so yeah, so then we slept, and then Alex got up, and I think he may have taken a shower before he left to go to this thing. I don't know. I was so out of it. I napped so hard. I know some people are like, oh, I can't sleep in a hotel room. You guys, I sleep in hotel rooms so well. Like, so, give me a fan and a hotel room bed, and I am like, I sleep so well. I was completely out. So anyway, yeah, that was our day. Okay, so I wanted to just talk about the TV shows that I watched on my plane ride out here. So I started with watching Welcome to Chippendales. Got caught up on that. Still very, very good. Although I felt like this week's episode was kind of like if you're watching it, you'll understand what I mean, probably. I felt like it was kind of like an in-between episode. Like, I didn't feel like it really told us a lot about much of this. It was kind of like a transition episode from like the first 5 episodes. I think it's the 6th episode. The first 4 or 5 episodes to the next part of the show. And so I was like, where am I at on time? Oh, I think I'm at like 29 minutes. I can't really see. I think yeah, I've got like 45 seconds till this stops. But so I watched that, and then the other thing is like, and I know that you can like charge your stuff on the plane, but like it doesn't charge very fast. And my AirPods, like they run out of juice so quick. So I actually brought like the plug-in headphones as well. I need to figure out better AirPods. Like somebody told me that they're like doing a recall on AirPods because of something to do with the but I've had these AirPods for like 3 years now. So it's like, I'm not gonna like turn them in and do a recall on them when I've had them for 3 years. Like, I just think that they're like old and I use them almost every single day. It stopped. I would feel like if I took them into like Best Buy and I'd been like, yeah, like I've had these for 3 years and they're just like, now they're not holding juice. I want to turn them in for a recall. I don't know. I wouldn't feel right about that. So I think I need to buy some new ones. I feel like everybody now is doing like the Beats ones. Like we were talking at like Thanksgiving about it, and like Caroline, like her son and like and her stepson and his wife and her nephew and everybody, like they all like wear the Beats ones. Do you guys like, if you're somebody out there that's done the Beats and you've done the AirPods, I would be interested to know which ones you like more. I just kind of like to keep it all like, you know, synchronized. And so since I have like an Apple phone and, you know, whatever, it's like and an iPad, it's like easier to have like the AirPods, but I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? So anyway, okay, so I watched Welcome to Chippendales, this week's episode, and then I started, I tried to start watching all of my downloaded, which took me forever to download, my downloaded episodes of White Lotus. I was going to start it. I was really excited about it, you guys. I was all like, had like my little treats. I gotten these crackers and some M&Ms. I was like all excited about it, which I didn't even eat my treats on the plane. But anyway, and so I was all excited about it, and Tanya acted like when I told her this that she like knew. Like she was like, oh yeah. And I go, what do you mean, oh yeah? And she's like, yeah, you can't watch. So HBO Max will allow you to download things. If somebody knows different than this, please explain it to me. But they will allow you to download things onto your iPad, but you can't watch them offline. Like, it makes no sense to me whatsoever. So I'm going in there and I'm like so confused. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Because now my iPad is completely filled with these, well, I'm going to delete them and put something else up there. But I'm like, now I have to watch my little phone, right? So anyway, when I was downloading the Welcome to Chippendales thing last night, when it got done, it said, see what other things you can download on Hulu. And I had a little bit of space left on my iPad. And so I was going through the movies because I thought, well, I'll download a movie and then like maybe there's a Christmas movie or something like that. Christmas movie, remember, that was what was in my mind. So I was like, well, maybe there's a Christmas movie or whatever. And then I saw this documentary that came up and it was called God Forbid. Some of you out there just perked up, okay, because you've seen it. So I have never heard of this documentary. I never heard of this case. I didn't know anything about it. I don't know how. I do not know how I didn't know anything about it. Hold on just a second. Ugh. But I ended up, where is my chapstick? So I ended up watching this documentary called God Forbid, okay? Do y'all know about this documentary? Okay, this is about this 20-year-old kid called Giancarlo Gando or something like that, that was from the Miami, Florida area. And he was working at the Fontainebleau or whatever hotel, and when he was 20, and he was seduced by Jerry Falwell Jr.'s wife, and he ended up having a 7-year relationship with her where allegedly like he would have sexual like relations with her and Jerry Falwell would like watch and record and do other things, you know what I mean? And it was so weird. And then they like introduced him to this whole world and they were gonna like buy him this property. It just was so sketchy. I could not believe it when I watched this documentary. I mean, it's like, for me, it is literally like the epitome of so many people out there that are like, you know, they say something out of one side of their mouth and they act a different way. And let me just tell you, like, it's part of the hypocrisy with all of this was that Jerry Falwell Jr. Is like the president of this university at the time, Liberty University, which his dad had started. And most of you probably know all this. I didn't know all this. And they have all these rules there, like you can't consume alcohol, you can't have alcohol, which a lot of Christian colleges have. In Indiana, we have Anderson College or Anderson University, and it's like the same thing. Like you can't drink alcohol on the campus and things like that, right? But you get fined these huge fines if you're caught with alcohol at Liberty University. While Jerry Falwell Jr. and his wife are partying it up in Miami, and they're doing all of these different things. They're literally violating all of their own code of ethics and morals that they have put into place and that they are, in charge of governing at this university. I mean, it's just so sick, you guys. It's just... And, and I watch stuff like this, and this is where I'm so thankful for just my simple, small life. They talked a lot in there about greed and people's greed and people, whatever, because it has a lot to do with religion and politics, which I won't even get into all of that. I think religion and politics are so intertwined from both sides of the fence, but anyway, you can go find all kinds of documentaries and stuff about that, but that part wasn't as interesting to me as just the religious background of all of this. And, one thing that was interesting is that they didn't really ever say what Jerry Falwell Jr.'s father would have said in this situation, but he was kind of when you talk about evangelical Christians, he was the person that talked a lot about moral high ground and gays and all this kind of stuff, And so then for his son to be acting this way, I don't know, it's just I think when people don't go to church, I don't go to church, right? But I'm a very spiritual person. I've explained this enough on here. Somebody not too long ago said something about Peter, you're such a believer in, you're basically they were saying that I was a Buddhist, that I'm a believer in reincarnation. I mean, not really. Do I believe in the possibility of reincarnation? Sure. I highly believe in an afterlife. I've studied a lot of different world religions, and I've taken what works for me and whatever, but that's a whole other conversation. I'm not one of these people that, with diehard Christians that go to church every week, that I'm a real naysayer, I'm oh, they're you know what I mean? I don't look down on that. I saw something today that was saying that all these people always are talking bad about I think maybe it was in this documentary, always, of Christians and going to church and whatever. We have lots of friends of ours. I have a lot of friends of mine in recovery that go to church every single week. My mother went to church every single week. She was very involved in church. She was part of Altar Guild, and, she was a deacon, and she did the kids cafe for years, and all this kind of stuff, which was because the church that we lived in was in an area where all the parents they worked second and third shift, and so the kids could be there and whatever. My mom was part of this, and, feeding these kids and helping them help with their homework and things like that. And Alex has several of his friends. We have this huge church in Indianapolis. It's one of those laser light show kind of churches, but tons of people in Indianapolis go to it. If you live in Indianapolis, you know what church I'm talking about. It's off an interstate and it looks like a warehouse. But anyway, Alex, three of his closest girlfriends go to this church religiously every weekend, sometimes throughout the week. I don't look down on it at all. I think whatever works for you and do it, but don't judge other people, right? If you're gonna do that, then don't put your judgment onto other people if you're gonna live, amongst other people in this world. Just I don't judge people that I see that want to go to an extremely conservative church where they're told not to party and, they're doing, X, Y, and Z and blah, 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 whatever. And so it's I just don't understand it. And one of the things, so that being said, I want to make this very clear. I'm not somebody that judges people that goes to church or is a Christian or identifies that way or finds whatever. There's a lot about Christianity that I believe in. There's a lot about Christianity that, aligns with my belief system. And I know that when I say that, like, that's very confusing to people. They're like, well, how can you believe in Christianity and how can you believe in this and whatever? You know, my mom got me this book that she had read, and it was called Living Buddha, Living Christ. And it was talking about how Buddha and Christ were basically like these figureheads of different religions, and that, but their goals and their concepts were very similar, and that they were really both, you know, like after the same ideas of love, compassion, kindness, understanding, forgiveness, you know, things like that. That's a lot of what I believe in, you know? And so it doesn't, and this is the other thing, and this is what recovery has given me. You don't have to understand it for it to work for me. Number one. Number two, any God that is big enough for me to believe in or to rule whatever kind of world that I live in is too big for me to understand. Like, I'm never going to fully understand it. And so for me to sit there and act like I have a full understanding of God is arrogance, ego, and pride. And so when people want to talk to me about, like, well, this with God, that, I'm like, okay, so you know how? Like, you know, I think, I don't know, the greatest mystical, you know, aspect of the world is like the ever-searching, what is God, what is the meaning of life kind of thing. And so, but I am an extremely spiritual person, you know, I'm a big believer in prayer. I pray every single night, you know, and it's not like, you know, not that there's anything wrong with this, but it's not like, you know, whatever, like, I'm doing weird prayers or whatever. I mean, like, you know, I do very, like, what you would consider Christian prayers, you know? I mean, we say the Lord's Prayer, you know, in recovery, and I say the Serenity Prayer, and I just talk to my God, you know, and I have a very conscious conversation with my higher power. Okay, so anyway, I feel like I'm prophesying all of this. I don't look down on anybody that has strong religious beliefs. In fact, I feel like it can be a strength, okay, for a lot of people. But what I have a huge issue with, and this is not, I'm not generalizing this, but what I have a huge issue with is those people that want to act high and mighty in religious positions. And I feel like I've known so many of them on a personal level and on like a larger level where I watch a documentary like this, that like are pastors of their church and then like are cheating on their wives and they end up getting divorced, but they continue to be like, they just change churches or something, you know, or I don't know. And I'm not saying that anybody doesn't deserve forgiveness and, you know, understanding. And I believe that. I really do. But, like, I think there's also an owning of that and a discussion of that. You know, it's like this, you know, and maybe it's part of being a marginalized, you know, person where you feel like the entire world has judged you much of your life. But I think, like, I don't know, it feels like I have encountered in my life like a kind of like cocky righteousness from some religious figures, that when the veil is lifted, which I love to say that the veil is lifted, but when the veil is lifted and you see behind it and you see what the truth is, and that a president of a university, of an evangelical college, okay, who is the son of one of the leading evangelical families in this country. I mean, they refer to him in this country as like, or in this documentary as the Southern religious Gatsby's or something like that, you know, is watching his wife have sex with a 20-year-old. Like, it's just, it's beyond to me. It's beyond. I mean, I just really can't, you know? So, anyway, and I'm not saying that, you know, but, like, even when offered the opportunity to come out, they show this at the end, and take responsibility, he throws his wife under the bus, and this kid under the bus. I don't know. And that's just one case of it, you know? Do you ever just feel like sometimes when you watch these documentaries about people that like run the world, do you ever just watch them and you're like, I'm so thankful that I live this very small life that I have where, like, I go to the grocery store and I watch my TV shows on Netflix and I get up and I work and I take a nap. I mean, like, and I hang out with my dogs and my wife or my husband. I mean, Tanya and I talk about that a lot. Like, I'm so thankful that my life is as small as it is. You know, like, I don't know, like, sometimes, like, I think, like, we're driven in this society. How did I get into this with this vacation vlog? Oh my Lord. But I think sometimes in this society, we are systemically motivated and inspired for money, greed, and power, or that financial success, career success, you know, if you have a nicer house, the nicest house, the nicer car, you know, the greatest 401k, greatest vacations, all this kind of stuff, that, you know, the greatest clothes, all this kind of stuff, that means that equals happiness. And yet I see so many people, like, personally, like, I've known a lot of people like this. I think it's really been more evident when I've known them personally, but I've known them, I mean, I've seen them, you know, like, in the limelight, and, you know, seen shows about them too, but, like, when they're just, like, they're miserable inside, and they're just like dying inside, you know, because they're not happy, and they're striving for something that they're filling with, you know, all this other stuff. I thought it was interesting. Well, and this is the thing. It's not to say you can't have a Louis Vuitton purse or drive a Porsche, you know, or have $1 million house if you want, if those things make you happy. But it's like, put them in perspective. I mean, those things are not going to be, it's one thing for those things to be part of what your dream world looks like, but it's another thing to realize that purchasing that purse and carrying that purse and buying that purse is not going to equal long-term happiness. You know, it just isn't. The work that we do internally is about that, you know? I've met a lot of angels that walk on earth that are just absolutely beautiful, delightful people, and are so giving and caring and just absolutely amazing human beings, you know, that are unbelievable, wise beyond belief, and, you know, whatever, that are very modest in their dress and everything, from their homes to their cars to whatever. And I've also known people that are, you know, some of the most amazing people in the entire world internally, and would do anything, so giving and kind and loving, that, like, my Aunt Kathy was like this, that carry nice purses and wear nice clothes, you know, and live in nice houses. I mean, I don't think that has to be the determinant of it, you know? But I think for many of us, we get confused with that. I think there's been times in my life that I've gotten very confused by that I thought that those material things equaled happiness when they don't. It's okay to want them. It's okay to have them. We all, I think, I shouldn't say we all, because I know when I say that, there'll be somebody out there that says, well, I don't. I think most of us, many of us, like, I love clothes. I love nice things. You know, Tanya and I are always talking about things and shoes. Y'all know I like a good, nice bag and, you know, shoes and all kinds. I mean, I do. I'm not going to be a BS artist about that, right? But I also know that owning it's not going to bring me happiness. Do you know what I mean? And I think that is, I think that's it. I don't know. Seems like there's a lot of people in the world that are searching for something in misguided ways. That they're searching for happiness through wrong avenues or something. I don't know. And I did for a long time. I mean, I just did. Should we check in with Alex and see? I want to know what was... Oh, Ballerini texted me. Hey, Ballerini. Alex and I, our original plan was that we were going to go out to dinner after this tonight, because I was like, do you think, like, are you going to eat? Because this is like a dinner thing that he's going to. It's like a dinner networking thing. And I was like, are you going to, like, eat dinner there? And he's like, oh, I probably won't eat dinner there. And I was like, just eat dinner, or like, have fun, whatever. And then he was like, well, okay. He was like, you know, I said, it'll be a nice dinner. They'll serve you guys something nice. And he was like, well, I don't know. I'm not really that hungry or whatever. I think when he woke up, he was a little bit more hungry after, even though we had eaten lunch. But we were gonna go and get something to eat tonight. Like, we were gonna like go find some place to eat. I'm not hungry now, but it is only 7:34. I don't know if I should say this or not, because I'm like, okay, so, because this is from, the comment was from somebody, I don't know why I should feel bad about it. So it was from somebody that is like a big vloggerino, and they have like watched my videos for a long time and whatever. It's so funny, like, I'm almost like more protective of the person that leaves the comment, and I think maybe sometimes they don't realize like how it comes across or how it sounds. And, but like, so, but I wanted to address this because of, it's silly, but it's whatever. So I got a comment on my vlog the other day from somebody that is very dear and, you know, has been a long follower over here, so I appreciate her support. But she was like, you need a new intro to your vlog. First of all, I was like, well, I didn't really realize I had an intro to my vlog. I guess I do. I guess I get on here and I say, hey guys, how are you doing tonight, or whatever, and then I say what time it is. But then she went on to say, we don't always need to know what time it is. And I was like, okay. Noted. Thank you for the criticism. I appreciate it. But what's funny about that, okay, is, and this was what I wanted to just kind of explain. But anyway, I appreciated the comment. The reason why, and so I think it's funny because like much of what I do on this, like, well, on all of my channels, like, like sometimes with the drama channel, like, y'all think I don't get bored of the intro too, you know, like, trust me, I do, right? And so, but like, if tomorrow on my drama channel, like, I just stopped doing the intro, like, there would be a lot, I mean, I know that there would be a lot of people that would be very thankful, but there would people, trust me, there would be a lot of people that would be very thankful. But there would also be a lot of people that would be like, I really missed the intro. Like, that was like, I still, every video get comments from people and they're like, oh my God, I love your intro so much. It cracks me up. I sing along with you, whatever, right? One of the things that people comment on my vlog is they'll say about the weather and about the time, and if you look in the comments, you'll notice it. They'll say, I always look to see what time it is when I'm watching your vlog, right? Because I say what time it is at the beginning of my vlog, and so people will be like, oh, am I watching it at the same time that Peter's filming it? Or what time is it here compared to when he's filming it, and things like that. And when people started saying that, because I think I just randomly, like in a vlog one day, I was like, oh, it's like 10:02 p.m. I didn't used to do it, if you remember. Like, I'd say, like, the way I started actually doing it was I would be like, it is 10:02 p.m. on this Thursday evening, and it is 55 degrees in Southern California. Do you remember that? And I'd say, like, we're going to vlog throughout the night. And I do this pilot thing, right? Like, that's kind of how it started, and then that stopped after a while. But there are a lot of people that would say, I love to know what the temperature is, and I love to know, like, the weather, and I love to know what time it is. And so that's why I started doing it. I'll be honest with you, like, I didn't even really realize until I got the comment that I do say the time in every video. And then I was kind of like, ooh, like, I do that. Like, I do say, well, I think it's like 6:05, but I don't have my phone. My phone's inside, or I'll, like, hold up the camera and whatever, you know. Sometimes, you know, I've been doing YouTube for 6.5 years. I have to say, like, if anybody said, like, what should I do in starting a channel? I think the hardest part of any video, the hardest part of making any video, the kind of videos that I make, I'm not talking about the highly edited ones. We all know I don't do all that. But I think, like, the hardest part of doing any kind of video is starting it and getting into talking and, you know, and getting the conversation going. It's really not that hard for me on the vlog. because I'm so used to doing it, and it's so easy to, and I hope that person that I'm talking about the comment, like, doesn't, like, listen, girl, I heard your critique, so I just wanted you to know the reason why I do that, and I take it, you know, like, I will not always, like, say the time anymore, but, I think I actually didn't do it today until right then, but, what was I gonna say? Shoot, now I forgot. Oh, you know, like, it's, for me, like, with the vlog, it's, like, easy to get into and start talking kind of, like, right away. Some days it's not, though. But, like, with my drama channel video, like, there is a, how can I say this? There's, like, I actually have my fan right over here. I can't reach it. I bring my fan whenever I go on vacation. There's kind of like a rhythm that I get into. Sometimes, like, people ask me, they're like, do you start these videos over? I don't, like, edit it, like, start it and edit it. I'll stop it, delete it, and start over. Stop it, delete it, and start over until I feel like the rhythm is right. And if I get past, and what that means is, like, I get past the song and I get into the topic. And if I get into the topic, I rarely ever start over a video on my drama channel, because it sometimes takes me a while to get into the rhythm of filming a video, you know, on my drama channel. And, you know, sometimes also, this is going to sound so weird, but on my Peterisms channel, you know, I'll get into, like, I'll read a meditation, and I'll get, like, halfway through the meditation, and I'll be like, this meditation isn't it today. Like, I'm not feeling it. I don't think people are going to relate to it. So I'm going to, like, start it over, and I'm going to read a different meditation. Sometimes I do that. But, you know, like, the hardest thing, I think, for any person is just kind of, like, getting into the rhythm of doing a video and talking on camera. You know, for me, like, people always ask me, how, like, my friends and stuff, they're like, how do you talk into a camera for, like, an hour? How do you do it for 30 minutes? Like, whatever. I mean, it's just second nature to me now. Like, it is really, it's so easy. I don't think to myself, like, when I'm filming this vlog, oh, there's going to be several thousand people that are going to watch this video. Like, I really, like, well, right now, like, I'm very concerned about this one person's comment because, like, I don't want to offend her. So I'm, like, really worried. Like, so she's kind of, like, in my head who I'm seeing as I'm talking right now. But, like, I don't ever really think of it. Like, I think of, like, just, like, one person being out there talking to one person, you know? And so, yeah, like, there's that. And I don't know, like, it's just, I think that's what's been the easiest for me. I think the other thing is like, it is kind of like a job for people that have social anxiety and are comfortable in their own space. Because, like, I, like, can just be in the comfort of my home with Boo Radley, and I can just throw up the camera and start talking, and, like, it doesn't feel like I'm presenting to a meeting or, you know, like I'm speaking to a large group. It literally feels like I'm speaking to Boo Radley and myself. Like, I turn off the camera and I'm like, Boo Radley, what do you think about that? You know, like, that's how it feels. Like, it doesn't feel like I'm talking to a larger group. But I think sometimes it's hard to get started in a video. Like, if you've ever, like, tried to start a channel or you've started a channel, like, I think you probably would agree with that. Like, getting right into the video is, like, one of the things that's the hardest. My review channel is really not that difficult. My booktube channel has really not ever been, I mean, from at the beginning, maybe it was, really been that difficult. My Peter Does Stuff channel, I think it's the channels where I feel like, my Peter, like, drama channel, I think it's because I feel like I want to get it right, is why, like, I struggle a little bit with that. Like, my vlog, like, I just feel so comfortable, like, sitting down and talking to you guys. With my Peter Does Stuff channel and my Peterisms channel, maybe it's because I feel like a little bit more vulnerable over there in what I'm talking about. And maybe that's why I struggle a little bit in getting started. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't happen to me every single day. But there are some days where, like, I'll get into a video and I'll just be like, God, this is like, I'm struggling today, you know, to get this started. And not like I'm struggling to make videos, but, like, when I sit down to make the video, like, I'm struggling, like, and it doesn't happen, like, very often. It did used to happen quite a bit. Like, when I used to, like, when I made videos back in the day. And vlogging was even difficult for me back in the day, you know? Like, I can remember starting to vlog, and I would get like 10 minutes into it, and I can remember being like in my head, being like, ooh, should I be talking about this? Should I be talking about my mom dying? Should I be talking about recovery? You know, like, should I be sharing these things? I stopped. I can't believe I vlogged for an hour already. This is like the longest vacation vlog ever in the world. And, you know, but like I would be like, maybe I shouldn't be sharing such personal things and whatever. I think ultimately with my vlog, the things that people have been attracted to, if they are attracted to it, is the sharing of the personal things. I think it's the relatability. I think it's that Peter went through this, I'm going through this. Peter went through this, I went through this. And I think what it's the human equalizer. And I think maybe what a lot of people, I'm just guessing, but maybe what a lot of people like about this channel is that it's like we're just all friends sitting down and talking, and it's not super deep. It just is what it is, and everybody can have their own opinions, and you know what I mean? Like, there's no judgment zone, and it's just whatever. And so I think ultimately when I realized that, and I got past the point of, I wouldn't say caring, because I do, but when I got past the point of worrying about, like, well, if I share this story, you know, like, about my mom or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, once I got past that, and I just kind of was like, you know, it's my life, you know? Like, there's this, like, whole thing on YouTube. It's like, well, if you say this on, you know, January 5th, but then like 4 years before that. I mean, listen, people are going to forget things. Your memory changes over time. You know, the way that I remembered something 4 years ago and the way that I remember it today, and if you're in your 50s, trust me, you'll understand. Maybe even in your 40s, but like that changes, you know, the things that I remember from 20, 30 years ago, like, and I have a pretty good memory, I don't remember them the way that I remember them 5 or 10 years ago, you know? That doesn't mean that I don't want to talk about them. Like, I would never have a conversation with one of my friends and be worried that they were going to judge me and fact check me like crazy, and I'm not going to do it on my channel. I'm not going to do it on my channel. I'm going to be who I am, and I'm going to share my life on here, and those people that love me are going to love me, and those people that aren't, and that's on them, you know what I mean? And that was something that I really had to come to terms with over here, and I think that that would be something that I would recommend to people too. Okay, Alex is texting me. Let's see what he said. Okay, he's coming back to the room, so I'm gonna get off here and start uploading this vlog. I can't believe I made it over an hour tonight. So anyway, he just finished, and let me know what, I don't ever say that, do I? Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love you guys so much. Thank you for being along for the ride with me tonight, and yeah, this is fun. A little different change of scenery, and hope you guys are having a magically amazing Thursday. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you. And remember these 3 very important things. 1, you can start your day over whenever you want. 2, practice random acts of kindness, but shh, don't tell anyone. And 3, most importantly, make sure that you reach out to somebody and let them know how much they mean to you. You'll be putting a smile on their face, you'll be cheering them up, and you'll be making them happy, and you'll be turning their day around, trust me. And also, be kinder to one another, love one another a little bit more, and be kinder and love yourself a little bit more. And I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya!